Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first workshop of the Sales AI Marathon. While we're waiting for other attendees to join the workshop, let's just warm up a little bit. Put in chat what city and country you're from. Hello, Filipa. Hey, by the way, for those of you who know or may not know, at Reply, we've been remote from day one. So basically, it was so exciting to, join a call and learn what location your teammate is calling from. That was always like, oh, guess where I am right now. So today we have, oh my God, it's Warwick, UK, Texas, Idaho, Colombia, Ukraine, Denver, Colorado, Cape Town, London, Ukraine, Turkey. Wow, this is amazing. Part of the Reply team is always also based in Ukraine. So, yeah, hello from there. America, Israel, Chicago, Prague, New York, Toronto, Cleveland. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, see more people joining now. Lisbon. Amazing. By the way, this year we will attend Web Summit. So if you guys are planning to visit this event, so just send me a message and probably we will meet there. It will be super exciting. Amsterdam, Austria. Wow, this is amazing. So let's start the first workshop of the Sales AI Marathon. My name is Olivia Milton. I'm CMO at Reply.io, and I'm very excited to meet you all today. During the workshops, I will be moderating the event. And before we get started, before I invite Morgan G. Ingram to join this stage, I want to share the idea behind the marathon. At Reply, we have a mission to facilitate AI adoption among sales and growth professionals to help you stay ahead in the competitive business landscape. We believe that with the help of AI Marathon, you will create a habit to use AI in your daily workflows and your daily tasks and stay ahead, stay ahead in this world. Today's workshop is about the usage of AI in sales prospecting. The topics that we will cover today are about audience research, audience segmentation, and some helpful techniques to create personalized messages. At the end of the workshop, we will have a Q&A session. So please feel free to put your questions in chat. We'll read them and we will, answer them. And moreover, the best question, the author of the best question will receive some of our branded gift. I know that this is kind of very cool stuff that we created specifically for this event. So please make sure to stay till the end of this event. And yeah, you'll have a chance to receive this gift. Also, to support you with AI adoption, we created a community on LinkedIn. So please join the community to share your challenges, to share your ideas on how to use AI, and to network, of course. And finally, please meet our amazing speaker, Morgan J. Ingram, the CEO and founder of Ascension Media Production. Morgan is a sales educator with over 150K followers on LinkedIn. He was named a top 50 sales leaders to follow by LinkedIn, a top 25 sales development thought leaders by Inside Sales, and a four-time LinkedIn top sales voices. Morgan, please, the floor is yours.
What's going on, everybody? What's happening? All right, everybody. So we're talking about AI today. I think everyone's excited about that. That's why you're here. But first, before we go into the content, what's incredibly important is to get a pulse check of where everyone's at, because we've got to know what's going on before we can get into it. So for everybody here, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate yourself in terms of knowing AI or using it? 5 being like, I am the AI wizard of Oz. I don't know, maybe. Or 1 is like, I really don't know anything. I don't even know what AI even means. I think it means Allen Iverson. That's like 1 level. So 1 to 5, let me know how you're feeling. Beam, you're 11. All right, well, maybe you should be up here, not me. All right, cool. Let's just get a pulse check. All right, and then there's a reason why I'm doing this pulse check. Kevin, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. See everybody coming in here. All right, cool. This is just a pulse check, y'all. We're just trying to get a pulse check. See what's going on. Beam, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. All right, cool. So 3. Okay, so 3. This is good. So about let's say a 2.5. 2.53. That's where people are at. So the thing is, the goal is that to get you all to like at least a 0.5 increase here. Can't expect the whole point because some of y'all are proficient, it looks like, but a 0.5 increase. And I'm going to walk through how to do this and how you can replicate it moving forward. Now, among all this stuff that we're going to be doing here, really the whole thing is, I would tell you that AI is one of those things that's going to expedite your sales success, but also as well is going to help you get rid of those tasks that you don't want to do and replicate a lot of things that you've seen success. So within that being said, let's dive into it. I got a presentation, but again, this is to be conversational. If you'll have any questions, comments, whatever, feel free to drop it in the chat and we can dive into it. But I'm just going to go through like how you actually can do this. We're going to jump into Chat CPT as well. Obviously, most of you know what that means. And we're going to show you some prompts that you can use and how you can leverage this moving forward. Now, as we're going through this, one of the things that I'll be talking about is how can you replicate your prompts? How can you be using them on a continuous basis? Because a lot of people, they'll do these prompts and then like it's over, right? So you'll see, okay, boom, here's our slideshow. And really our whole main focus here is, okay, how do you unlock sales success by using AI prompts, right? And so this is what we're going to learn today, because I think it's important to talk about what we're going to learn. So number 1 is you're going to understand how to use prompts to create better emails and LinkedIn messages. You're going to be able to use your sales process with the right ICPs, using AI, how to scale these outbound efforts, and ultimately how to use ChatGPT for sales. Again, most of you are on the 2-3 range. So at the end of the day, like, again, this might be stuff you've seen, but most of the stuff maybe you've never seen before. But the goal is to use these in application to then figure out how to continuously get better in your sales cycle. And then I always tell people in every presentation that I do is the goal is to take away 2 to 3 things that you can go use after this. I don't recommend don't go use like 1,000 things. Like that's just not going to work out well for you. But like we're really looking at like, hey, 2 to 3 things that you can do. How do you apply that? And then you move forward from there. So that being said, let's talk about like the introduction piece here, which is the problem with outbound. So we're going to talk about this first. All right. So wait, the problem with outbound, what are you talking about? So the thing is that right now, right, there are more outbound messages being sent out and less responses. The reply rate data is continuously going down and the open rate data is continuously going down. People are starting to get numb to outbound outreach. Now, that doesn't mean don't do it. There's a reason that I'm saying this. Because it's getting more tough, that means you have to become more relevant at a faster speed. And when you think about AI, it obviously allows you to accelerate, right, what you've already done well so that you can do that proficiently great moving forward. So again, when you think about the problem with outbound, it's because so many people have just adopted this basically this automated, not relevant messaging, which has led to buyers not being wanting to engage with, where we have to think about how can we take the messaging that we've already done extremely well, right, to then expedite that and put us in the right path for success moving forward. Period, in a sentence. That's what's wrong with problem. That's the problem with outbound today. There's too many things that are being automated. There's too much going on. And now we have to find out, okay, how do we become relevant again and personalized? And I do believe that if you put the right inputs instead of AI, it then allows you to go where you need to go, right? Which is the key out of all of this. But again, that's the current problem. So with that being said, what's the benefits of AI in sales? And some of you may have seen these stats, and I'm starting with these stats before we get tactical here, just so you can understand where we're going. So let's just go through them. This is really important. According to HubSpot, salespeople spend 21% of their time writing emails. It's about a fourth of the work week. So what we're going to talk about today is how can you get some of that time back to be selling or leading your team or doing other things that like are more important. And so that is a hindrance for most people, right? Writing those emails over and over again. Could you use AI to expedite a lot of these processes? Absolutely. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How can you expedite that across the board and be more successful in what you're doing? Right. So that's number one. Number two, why is this important? Reps spend 28% of their week actually selling. So, right, if we did the math, right, that's 72% of the time that they're not selling. I don't know about y'all, like if we're in the comments, that's not good. 72% of the time your reps are not selling, according to Salesforce, which is pretty credible at the end of the day, right? I think Salesforce is a pretty credible source. So they're saying 72% of people they're not doing their actual job. 28% of the time they're actually doing their job. Not good. So we're going to talk about today, how does AI play into that so you can increase that active selling time, right? 2-3x the active selling time with the right prompts, with the right AI and things of that nature, right? Because if we think about this and take a step back, we don't want our reps to not be doing the activities of selling and getting in front of people and having these conversations. That's not going to be helpful. That's not going to get us in the right spot, right? We need to be in the conversation of, okay, how can we get our reps to be doing their more selling motions? How can we expedite certain things that we maybe aren't thinking about? And how can we be doing maybe emails, which we're going to talk about today? How do you expedite that messaging? We're going to go into that detail. And then the third piece is like, okay, more tools are being consolidated. So how do you boost productivity with less tools, right? And AI is going into that. And so those pieces as well. Michael, good question. It did not say that in the study. My assumption, this is my assumption, would be like actively on a call or actively prospecting or actively in some type of pursuit of a deal. So I don't know the semantics, Michael. You can maybe follow up Salesforce and ask them, but they didn't have semantics in the data. But that's my assumption of what it would be. Those are the motions of selling. I think everything else is probably data entry on calls they shouldn't be in, internal meetings, etc. That's what they're probably referring to. But again, that's the semantics. I don't know the full details. But again, think about these stats, right? And then once we understand that these stats are okay, active selling time is extremely low. People are spending a lot of time writing emails. Tools are consolidating. How can we use AI to then get the benefit? So that's when we go into these AI tools. Now, I'm going to show you a couple AI tools that can be helpful. I don't know if y'all have used any of these, but we got a couple here, right? So you got the Lavenders of the world that can analyze emails and tell you if it's good or not. Fathom, this is a call recording. Second Nature, practicing. Crystal Knows, right? It actually allows you to analyze people's profiles, etc. Midjourney, ChatGPT. These are all tools that you can use for sales, right? Obviously on top of Reply.io as well, which has AI components. But these are just examples of tools, most of them, that you could go use for free to go check out certain things. But obviously today we're going to talk about ChatGPT. But I'm giving you different examples of tools you can go get for free right now and go start using to figure out how do we go about this. Because, for example, if I'm on a call, I can get a call recording. Incredible, right? Now I can get that summary of that call and I can get back to selling. Crystal Knows. It's not, by the way, it's not like a drug site. So that's not what I'm talking about here, but like it's actually really good. What does it do? It actually analyzes the person's disc profile on LinkedIn and gives you a breakdown of how to email them, how to call them, and how to sell them. That's amazing as well. So these are all things that you could be using, right, to be more proficient in the way that you go about certain things, right? But today, right, we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT to then get this active selling time back and be more proficient, which is why y'all are here. So here is how you can create. This is what y'all really want, right? Y'all like, okay, Morgan, that's cool. AI, I don't really care. Here's where we're really at. This right here is what I have been sharing with clients. I've been doing myself to expedite my messaging. Now, I'll leave it for a bit. Probably going to screenshot it, whatever, but we're going to go into ChatGPT. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. For people who are already wondering already, we're going to go through it. But the whole premise here is that I want you all to think about this. I don't know if someone's already doing this already in the chat, let me know, but you need to treat your sales messaging before you send it out. You need to treat it as we need to test this, but not testing it on live people. Let's test it in a safe environment, such as AI, because no one's seeing it except for the AI. So what I've created here, and what we're going to walk through is developing your ICP to then create personalized and relevant messaging to your audience and getting feedback in real time from the AI. I don't know if anyone's doing this, but this is how you're able to test your messaging before you even get to the real messaging. And the data proves it. Again, you can go look this up. Everybody knows this. Outbound is harder. Response rates are down and open rates are down. That is a fact. There's no way around that. There's just holistically, that's what's happening. So before you go create more noise in the market and you don't really know if you know what you're saying yet, why don't we use AI to test our messaging before we do it on live people, right? I think we're all in agreement there. I think that makes sense, right? So with these frameworks, this is the flow that I take people through to then get them to analyze, or the AI in the sense, the AI to analyze what I'm going to say before we even get to sending them to the person that we're trying to talk to. So with that being said, now we're going to transition, right? And we're going to start talking about how to use this in Chat GPT. And we're going to use a real life example. And I'm just going to show you how to do this. All right. So we're going to take a step back. And now we're going to go inside of Chat GPT and we're going to go live here. So I'm going to pull this up. And by the way, I have 4 and I have the regular version. So I'm going to just go through the regular version. As you can see, I have a lot. I have a lot of chats, so I do this a lot. But again, what we're here to do today is talk about personas. So the first thing we're going to do, right, is we needed to analyze the personas. Now, most of you all know this. This has not been updated, ChatGPT, and there's some other ones, right? I know there's Bard and those other ones, right? But we're using ChatGPT because everyone knows what it is. So this hasn't been updated since September 2021. So the biggest problem that people have is that, number one, they're like, give me the persona objectives and priorities of 2023. Well, that's not a smart question to ask it because it's not going to know that. And it's going to give you data from 2021, right? Yes, this is the free ChatGPT. So the thing is, the first thing is like, don't do that. Also, I want to show y'all something really interesting. You can't treat ChatGPT or any AI as a genie because it doesn't know what it doesn't know. It only is based on just inputs that are put in there from whoever put it in there, the basics. So let me show you the example. Most reps will do this. I did this at the beginning because I wanted to test it. All right, so let's write a cold email. Before I even show you actually what to do, let me show you just like what not to do. So write me a personalized, great, cold, check this out, cold outbound email to a prospect, right? All right, and I put a question, whatever. All right, so check this out. Let's zoom in real quick. All right, would y'all would y'all reply to this email? I'm laughing because I already know the answer, but would y'all reply to this email? Just yes or no in the chat. Like, well, is this a good email? I don't know. I told her to write an amazing email. Is this actually good? Let me know in the chat, or maybe you would respond to this. I don't know. Everyone's different, but check this email out, y'all. What do we think about this email? And then look, Bard is fair play as well. We're just using ChatGPT, just make it easy. But again, all right, see, everyone's like, no, yeah, exactly. Hopeful as well. As soon as I saw Hopeful as well, it was already over for me. I don't even know what this even says, to be fair. After I saw Hopeful as well, I pretty much blacked out. So, but again, nope, horrible, too long, not good, right? So this is not good, right? So, y'all, but look what I said. I said, write a great email. I gave it the right prompt. Here's the problem, and this is really important. It's really important. Most people want it to be a genie, but the thing is, bad inputs lead to bad outputs. And as sales professionals, we should be the best people at AI because we should ask really good questions, right? You should. If not, that's a different conversation. But we actually should be the best prompters in the world. I believe that as a fact after doing this for a while and studying this. We actually should be the best because we ask good questions. So I want y'all to think about that. Oh, I'm not an AI prompter. I don't understand dev. No, you actually, all you have to do is just ask good questions. And you'll get good outputs. However, if you have terrible questions and bad inputs, this is what happens. I'm just showing you what happens. Because somebody on your team is probably like, oh, let me go use ChatGPT as a genie. Nope, that ain't going to work. And I'm showing you real time, it's not. Even if I said, hey, write me and raising me. We could keep going down the string, and I'm not going to, but I'm just showing you as an example. This is what most people do. This is the majority of people in the world. This is what they're doing right now, right? So this is an example of what not to do. But now we're going to show you what to do. So we're going to create a whole new chat. All right. And so the first thing that we have to do is we have to create an ICP, right? Otherwise, is it really going to matter? And we want to make sure that we can get the most out of it. So what I do is I just type in, I mean, super simple. I go to Google and I just say, hey, what are the top 20? I'm going to just show y'all real quick. So boom. All right. Top 2 to 3 priorities and challenges for a chief marketing officer. So as part of what I do in my company, AMP, I do sales training, but I also help people with event activations and video selling and creating compelling content for their brands. So obviously a CMO is who I want to talk to. So, all right, cool. But I need to know what's actually happening in 2023. Actually, at this point, I probably should be looking at 2024, to be fair, but again, 2023. So as you see, there's a ton of relevant data. So let me dive in here. Okay, I see what's going on. Maybe I'll just type into CMS Wire, and I'm showing you how to go about this, right? So this is the beginning of the year. All right, cool. I'll take this. And so now I'm just looking at what do they care about, and I can copy and paste these things across the board. So I might be like, all right, cool. I might go through and be like, okay, these are things that I want. So what I would do is you have about I think 4,126 I think not character keys. It's like tokens or whatever, which leads to X amount of words. So I could probably copy and paste this whole thing and just get the background. So let's just do that. I'm going to copy and paste this, right? And I'm going to go in ChatGPT and say, I'm looking to build a challenges and priorities list for a chief marketing officer. And it'd be good if I could spell it right. In 2023. All right, cool. And this is all real time. I'm just showing you exactly how to do this, right? So y'all know what to do. So then, right, from here, I'll add in all this stuff and be like, compile this info. Come on, for me. All right, cool. Boom. All right. So now, free version, cool. We'll let it do its thing. So check this out. Boom. All right, so it's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. Boom. All right, summary. That was pretty simple, right? Cool. We just mapped out this summary, right? And so now, right, the next thing is Beam. Yes, I could do chat before, but just use it free. Make sure everybody feels included, Beam. Come on. But the thing is, once we do that, yes, I will share the prompts, and I'll show you how to do it at the end to make it simple. So, okay, now I have these 5, right? And again, I'm just showing you exactly what you should do. You literally can just go copy and paste this from anywhere, and now we have these 5. So now the next thing that we need to do is say, make me a table of this information. And so now it'll make a table for me. Why is this important? Because it's just easier to use. Now I can use this moving forward. It tells me how they're addressing it. So now I can go in here and I can actually copy and paste this and use it moving forward as well. Here's another key thing as you're in AI is you want to tell it to remember the information. Now, I know there's other AI tools out there. I get it. So, but the thing is, in this one that we're in right now, in this conversation, what you want to be able to do is tell it to remember what's going on. So I'm going to say, remember this table and challenges that we discovered. I'm going to tell you why this is important. All right. Tell it to remember it. All right. Boom. All right. So it remembers. Why is it important? Because we're training it to remember what we're doing. Otherwise, it sometimes just doesn't do that. Okay. So that's the case. To answer that question, if they vary from industry to industry, you just change the Google search. So, I mean, you would just go in there and say top CMO 23 challenges in manufacturing. I just made it holistic for just this example. So it's just easy for people to follow along. But if you want to change the industry, just change the Google search and you just go from there. So essentially, now that we have this in here, we now have it remembered, right? And also as well, to even further answer that question, you could change it inside of ChatGPT, right? You could literally say CMOs facing 23 challenges in manufacturing, in tech. You could go deep with this, but we don't have the time to go that deep. They're not giving me enough time to do that. But you could just go deep. You can go do it on your own and then just go as far as deep as you want to go, right? And then you can kind of go into that whole entire thing as you want to. So anyways, we want it to remember, because what the more that we tell it to remember, the more beneficial that it will be, right? And so that allows us to then see success in what we're looking to do, right? And that's the key. That's the whole premise, right? That's what we're looking to go, right? That's the overall theme of what we're looking to do. So there's that. Now that we're here, right, we then can start analyzing emails. Now, this is where this becomes fun, because there's probably people in here right now where you're like, oh, my team has good emails, or I have good emails, or I have a team member that's absolutely doing extremely well right now. Great. And you probably want to replicate that. It's my assumption, right? I think y'all want to replicate success. I think that's important. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in emails that have already gotten responses, right? Kevin, this is actually a really good point. I wish we could highlight this point. It's actually really good. So then he's like, then I'm assuming you just go back to the chat every time and you want to update in the CMO and manufacturer tab. Absolutely, you can go update it. So I can go back and say, hey, things have changed for 2024. Here are the updates. You create a table, you tell it to remember it, and you move on from there. So you don't ever have to go create a new one if you don't want to, right? That's the key. You don't have to go create a new one. That's the real benefit there, right? Now we're rolling. Now we're in a good spot, right? And that's where we want to go. So now, right, we have the priorities. You can continuously build on this if you want to. You can add multiple people in here as well, right? But the premise here is, right, I think as we all are getting this, is that we want to make sure that we're continuously building on this. We're getting use cases, etc., right? Because the more that we can do that, the more successful this becomes, right? So far, I want to make sure is everybody good so far? I want to make sure, because we're moving quick. Before I go into the email portion, this is when it gets pretty deep, but pause. The Google search, the table, is that all? Am I making sense, right? Is this helpful? We just want to make sure this is helpful so far before I go into the email, because this is when it gets really fun. But we need to make sure that everybody is good. So just give me a pulse check in the chat. Are we good? Is everybody feeling it, right? And then we can just go from there. But I need to make sure that everybody's good. They're like, okay, Morgan, this is making sense. This is adding up. I'm in Chat GPT right now. I'm getting it in. Maybe someone's already like following along. I encourage you to follow along. Actually, it's actually pretty easy if you do that. But my hope is everyone's like, okay, we're in the right vibe. We're heading in the right direction. We're good. Morgan, we're just trying to see what the next step is, right? Across the board. So next step is, again, and you can follow along with me right now. You can pull this up. Now we're going to go find our emails. All right. Now we're going to go find our emails. And we want to find the emails that have done well, right? Don't go pull up the Genie email, all right? Don't do that, because then you're just messing this all up. Then I can't help you. But you want to get the stuff that actually works, and then use it from there, right? And so I'm looking at this right now. I have a ton of different emails that have worked across the board, right? So let's use this for example. All right, I'm going to put this in here. Now, check this out. Check this out. What we're about to do. I have short keys. You can go use any short key. I have like MacBook shortcut keys. It's called I'm blanking. It's ATEX text expander, or you can use MacBook short keys. So I have one, and check this one out. We'll analyze it. So look at what I said here. Analyze the text, and I have text, but you can just use email, right? And analyze the style, voice, and tone using NLP to give me an assessment of this email. All right, and then I'm going to put in the email that I sent that got to a response and led to a meeting and led to a closed deal, right? So we know this works. So I'm on this end. I'm selling people a service that helps them create content without being a headache, right? Helping them getting better at their content, helping them get better at videos, right? That's what I'm doing here. So you'll see here, I'm going to analyze this. Oh, NLP. NLP is neuralistic programming. Simply the psychology of having communication with someone, etc. There's a book. There's a lot of books on like NLP for sales, etc. So something to go check out. So anyways, so as you see here, NLP is just the psychological breakdown of how people communicate, it's the most simple terms without getting way too deep into it, because we could go deep on that, but again, that's not what we're here for. I want to understand the psychological breakdown of this, and I want to know the style, I want to know the voice, I want to know the tone. That's how people respond to emails. It's an emotional trigger, but also there's style to it. So I put in this email, right? I like this email. It worked. So now we're going to have it analyze it. Check this out. Boom. It tells me the style. It tells me the voice, the tone, etc. Now, what are we going to do? Remember this style, voice, and tone as we create more emails in this conversation. All right, we gotta keep training, y'all. It's like a little kid, right? You gotta tell it what to do. All right, so now it's like boom. And also, I don't know, y'all. Sometimes I think it like because you don't know. Like I'm trying to be on the good side. So yo, AI, I appreciate you, homie. So like, I don't know about y'all. I'm always thinking AI. I don't know what it is. I'm like, yo, appreciate you. I don't know, y'all. I just gotta think it. So that's just me. I know maybe some of y'all they're like you think it. I'm always thinking like, hey, appreciate you. Anyways, so now we're here. All right. So I created this email, right? And so now I want to make sure, right, that we get the information we did last time. So I'm going to bring this up because this is important. So now I'm going to say, hey, remember our persona, good manners. Yeah, Frank, good manners. Look, man, I ain't trying to have the AI pull me in. They're always going to remember if you're thanking them every time. So remember our persona challenges. Can you bring them up again? All right. So let's make sure that, oh my gosh, not that. That's terrible. Okay, this. Boom. All right. Okay, cool. So now it's telling me about this email. So sometimes it forgets this, right? So that's why we got to go back up here, and I'm going to be like, boom. I'm going to copy and paste this again, and y'all are going to see why I'm doing this. Oh my goodness, it's not doing what I want it to do. Okay, hold on. See, this is real time. Sometimes you got to troubleshoot this. So I'm just going to go back here, tell it what it needs to remember again. We're going to put this here. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. All right, boom. All right, so cool. So now they summarize it. Okay, so we remembered it. So now what I'm going to do is say, we went back to this style and tone, and I want it to write an email. This is where you're going to have to give it some rules, but I'm going to say, okay, now let's write a cold email to a chief or a CMO, and let's focus on changing consumer behavior and how what I've done differently there. I mean, yeah, I think I would have just been more granular. Like again, sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it is what it is. So I think the ChatGPT 4 is actually better, right, for remembering things. But I'm on the regular one, so I'm just showing y'all what to do. Yeah, I mean, typically from here, let me show you. Where's it at? Yeah, like right here. Once you do this, I actually like will immediately transition and write the email, but I actually have found that when I tell it to remember it, it remembers the personas and it brings it back up, and then you write the email and then it does that. But sometimes it does the remembrance of that last one. That's one thing I've just been playing with to figure out how to get them more concise. Continuously playing with it, right? I'm showing you all real time. Like everyone's still learning this, right? But anyways, that's how I'd answer your question. So anyways, so now we want to start a cold email. So I'm going to say, okay, let's focus on changing behavior and how content can help with that, right? And then I say, when we write this cold, and you got to give it the rules. When we write this cold email, make sure and again, y'all like, oh, write all the rules, because you can do all this stuff across the board, right? Sentences, let's say like less than 125 words, whatever. And then you can do remove hope all is well in all text. I just don't like that. And then we can be like, and keep it compact. Use the following rules. And again, you'll see you have to kind of play with this a little bit, but I'm going to go back up here, right? Boom. Come do that. And then now we're going to enter it. All right. And it should just pull it from this. And again, you have to play around with this. Again, this is what it says. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So could this email be better? Absolutely. But again, here's the thing that you got to think about AI. The goal is to get it 80% there. So now that we're 80% of the way here, I'm like, okay, I can actually work with this. I can change the personalization piece because you're going to have to go find personalization and AI won't typically be able to do that, right? So you're going to go figure that out on your own. And then I at least have my value prop right there. And then I have my piece. This email is again, I'm not saying this is an A+ email, by the way, but this email is better than probably most people get, right? And so I'll zoom in real quick. So the thing is, this is a baseline of my foundation, right? I'm not saying this is the perfect email, so please do not take that as that. I'm saying this is getting me closer, right? Did I have to take a couple extra steps to do that, right? Boom, right? And then I'm going from there. So now I have all the stuff that I didn't want it to do. This is a compact email. I actually can work with this for sure. And this is like an email that if you do it appropriately and I added some pieces, I can get there. Now, again, the whole goal of this is to create foundations because I don't want to have to write emails over again. I just want foundations that I can personalize. I only needed to get to 75 to 80% because there's like about 20% of work I need to do here, which is fine because now I'm going to show you what to do next. Because once we do this, I'm going to be like, okay, take this framework and style, create 5 more emails about solving the challenge of, and then we just go back up here. Okay. Now, you can keep doing this, right? You can actually create email campaigns off of this, and it will continuously create different emails across the board. And again, I'm about 80% of there, and I can figure out what I want to do. And so now, right, I can take this, do here. And again, the purpose is to your comment is to get 80%. I'm not saying this is 100%. This is to get you a foundation. Most people probably don't even get this far. So the thing is, now that you have this, I'm going to say, can you analyze this email as a CMO, right? And give me feedback. All right, boom. And so now we're going to just put one of these emails in here. All right. And again, you have to edit these, but I'm just showing you the baseline. So, and then now, boom. Okay, so now this is giving me in real-time feedback. Now, again, is this perfect feedback? No. Again, please do not like try to think that way. You just have to get foundations. You have to get repeatable structures. So now I have an understanding of like what was good, what wasn't. Could I change my call to action? Could I change my tone? And I could put in my emails consistently, and now I can use this as a grading system. So again, any email that you want, we now can put it in here. Again, these are just the ones I created, so I can do this. So now I can continuously put this in here, and it will now give me feedback on this email and what's good and what's not, and I can continuously grow from there, which is the goal. So the thing is, that's the way that you can build this moving forward, and that's the way you go about it. And I'm going to say this again because people miss this point. ChatGPT, AI, Bard, whoever the heck you want to use, it is not a genie. So you're not going to come in here and create these magical emails that are going to be copy and ready to go off the press. That's not the point. The point is for you to create a structure that gets you 75 to 80% of the way there, and then you need to go in and add your element of personality to it. However, if you have the frameworks and the structures in place, you don't have to think about all the other things that take people a long time to do. The reason that it takes a long time for people to create emails is because they don't know what to write, so they have writer's block and they just stumble, or they don't know what to put in the subject line and they fumble. You don't have to worry about either of those in this scenario. You have the structure, you have the framework, now put in the work and add your personality to it, and you're going to be way ahead. So your active selling time is going to infinitely increase because now you have this, and you now have a testing ground to figure out what works and what doesn't. That's how you go about this. All right. So that's the breakdown. That's how you should think about it. And it's that straightforward, right? Anything else that you do outside of that, like it's just not going to be helpful in the confines of what we're trying to do here. So that's the way that I would do that every single time. So that's the key thing as well. So that's the way that I would go about it. Those are the ways that you can think about it. Again, you can continuously beat this down. You can add in different prompts. You can add things that you want to, like, that's fair play, but that's like the way that I would look at this. So again, these are the pieces. Now, what I can do and it should do this because I've done this before, but you know, it's AI, so sometimes they like to play games. Based on this conversation, can you provide me all the prompts that I put inside of here? All right, so boom. So now we should be able to get, okay, so sometimes it does not do this the way I want it to. Sometimes it gives you it all in, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, this is real-time stuff. So the goal is that you want to be able to get all these prompts from this. I will send the prompts out anyways, but most of the time, if you're like, hey, remember all these prompts, it'll give you all the prompts that you gave, or obviously you can go back and go to each one. But the goal is that you want to get all these prompts and then run this as a repeatable structure, run it for different industries, run it for different pieces, etc. So that's like the way that you would want to do it there. But again, all these prompts you can now use moving forward, right, is the key. So now if we go back to the presentation itself, right, and then now this will kind of open up for questions. This is the piece, right? We identify the top 3 to 5 buyer personas. Again, I didn't do all of them for time's sake, but you want to find them. You want to create a table of information for those people. If it's different industries, then you go from there. Then we want to identify the emails or LinkedIn messages that have been successful. Then you tell, hey, this is what the rules are. Some people put some rules that they would take to put in there, so great. And then now I'm asking for feedback based on the buyer persona. Then that's it. That's how you go about it. That's how you set yourself up for success. That's how you put yourself in the right motion, and that's how you put yourself in the right spot. So all these things across the board will then put you in a place of confidence and put you in a place of progression moving forward. So that's the way that I would do it as well. So now we're going to have questions. We're going to open up for the next 13 minutes or next 15, 17, 18 minutes we have here. This is going to be like the process. So you all will get this after, and we'll talk about it, but you all will get this piece and then you'll get the prompts as well. So you'll get both of these so now you can go start taking action on it and do it yourself. But these are things that can get you started and get you in motion. The thing with AI is that you obviously can create your own prompts, create your own things right across the board and get yourself in the right spot. And that's the key there. So that's the piece. Kevin, yes, I have used the Connect Web. Again, I wanted to keep it like super, super basic for everybody here. I don't want to go too advanced if you haven't used this before. This is really just the fundamentals across the board. I mean, we could go super deep, but again, we don't have time for that. And that's not the piece. But I have used the Connect to the Web. I've used some other pieces as well. And like that takes it to a whole new level, right? Then it gets fun. But here's the process. You will get the prompts. You will get the pieces so you can go do it yourself if you would like to. It's obviously up to your discretion on what you want to do and how you want to go about it. So that's it, y'all. That's in terms of the information. I'm hoping that was helpful in terms of how to start thinking about this. Obviously, you can create your own prompts and get yourself moving in certain ways. But my hope is that this gives y'all confidence moving forward to start doing some prompts. So let me know if that was helpful or impactful in that last bit. I know we went to ICP, then we went to the emails. You can have a ton of fun with that. We've had some clients get some fun and get some results out of it too. So, that's the fun part. So now let's get some questions answered, right? Y'all were asking some questions throughout it, but now we're going to have some dedicated time to answer some questions. I'm going to stop sharing so we can actually get into this here. So here I am, boom, we're back. So now the floor is open for questions if y'all have them, and we can now start chopping it up and have some conversations. Frank, you are welcome. Okay, this is a good first question. Tori here saying, hey, look, how would you approach follow-ups in ChatGPT when you don't get responses on the first email message? So are you saying, yeah, hold on. ChatGPT 4 is better. That's that one. How would you approach follow-ups in ChatGPT when you didn't get responses on the first email or messages? So I made an email, and I'm trying to understand this. I made an email instead of ChatGPT. I sent it out. I didn't get a response from the prospect. I think that doesn't have to do anything with ChatGPT at that point. It's just a follow-up. So this is a different answer. My follow-up would actually be something that's been proven. I've done sales training. I did sales training for the past 3.5 years. Salesforce, Google, et cetera, and we tested this across multiple different orgs. we found that when you follow up and ask for feedback, you get a higher positive response rate. That's important because response rate could mean, it's pretty nebulous. That could mean really anything. Positive response rate. So these are people that would say, hey, I want to meet with you. So all you do here, Tori, is we make this email, we send it out. I say, hey, let's say if I'm reaching out to Frank, I say, hi, Frank, any feedback on my email? That has led to more positive responses. So yeah, and you just do the email in the same thread and you follow from there. That's been game changing for us. So hopefully that helps answer that question if I understood that correctly. So ChatGPT or Bard, to be fair, Frank, I only answer questions that I've done enough research on. When AI first came out, I just spent so much time in ChatGPT. I spent all my time in it. So I like to just get a better understanding of something before I like to move on or explore other things. So I've just been in there trying to hammer away, figure things out, get deeper. How do I get better? That's really just the name of the game. I'm a student, right? I'm not saying that I'm a Jedi master by any means. I'm a student of the game, and I'm just sharing my journey with you all as a guide, really. And so to answer that question, haven't spent enough, and I've been in Bard for a little bit, but I haven't spent enough time in it to give you the right answer. So if you ask me in 3 months, I'll have a different answer because I'm going to start to shift next month into that. But I don't have enough data points. I don't have enough insight. I haven't spent enough time there to tell you. So my answer is biased and unfair, and that would be an unfair answer. So my thing is like, look, I haven't spent enough time in there as much as I would like to, right? I like ChatGPT because of the originator. However, I do think there are other tools that will continuously evolve and get better. But I need to spend more time in there to give you the right answer. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's see here. Some tips and tricks you tried and tested with ChatGPT in regards to the SDR intro emails. Define an intro email. I'm assuming the very first email. I'm assuming that's what you mean. When I think of an intro email as well, that could also mean an intro to your AE. So I could see that going in a lot of different ways. But I'm assuming you mean the first email. And I think the biggest thing is I look at just the data points in my organization to replicate my first emails. I try really not to overcomplicate it, to be fair. And if you don't have data points in your organization to tell what's good or what's not, I really just test it and say, again, what I just did, I'll create like 5 different emails. I'll run it through 5 different campaigns and see what works and then go from there, personally. So I guess in short, to answer that, the tips and the tricks are analyzing people's tone and sentiment that are already successful and going from there. Transparently, if you really want to take it to the next level, and this is what I would do, there's so much information that gets shared on LinkedIn. Like I could literally pull up LinkedIn right now, literally, right? And I could go through multiple people that have great emails and you can analyze their tone. Y'all know there's a ton of sales content creators out there. They put their emails out there online. Why not just take their emails and replicate their tones and then create it in your own style? I don't see anyone really talking about that. Clearly, they know what they're doing. They've gotten responses. Just use that. So that'd be my kind of my tips and tricks. Is like it really has just been analyzing tones. That's what I use it for, because then I understand psychologically how to write the email. What most people want is they want a template, right? Everybody wants. That's the best way to put. This is the best way to put it. Everybody wants the food, but nobody wants to use the recipes. I'm gonna, yeah, that's just it. I don't know. Someone could put that in the chat, but like, I want y'all to think about this. Everybody wants the food, but they don't want the recipe. What am I talking about? Most people just want the end product. I just want a response, so give me the template. Well, that doesn't actually train you to be good, because when the template does not work, you're done. You're cooked. Game over. You need to understand the recipe in order to do it. Why did great chefs get that piece, right? Why do they get paid more than the person that's just giving you the order? You got to think about this stuff. So that's what I'm saying. The recipe is more important than you just getting the food. Everybody just wants a template. And that's not going to happen. You got to understand the psychology of why that email is good. So I would take every single email, right? Every single email that comes on LinkedIn, every content creator that puts it out there, analyze the tone. You'll probably find a theme. There is a theme, by the way. And then that's how I do it. So that was a little rantish, but like, that's the real answer. Look, like I don't have the deep semantics on why ChatGPT 4 is better than 3. I mean, they have a whole breakdown on this, but it's just faster. You have add-ons, you have plugins. That's why it's better. You just have plugins. Like I created my whole entire Portugal trip. Side note, I created my whole entire Portugal trip from using ChatGPT 4. Gave me the Google Maps, gave me the settings, gave me the coordinates. I did it in like 15 minutes. Best trip I've ever been on. That would have taken me like 3 days to get all that stuff. Just an example, the plugins make it better. ChatGPT 3.5, you don't have the plugin, so it takes you longer to get the information. 4 has the plugin, so you can move faster. That's the simple answer on that. Input, yes, I've converted a negative response to a positive one. I don't know if you want more information than that, but yes, I have. What would you suggest, a longer email or a short email for email campaigns? So you're different. This is different semantics. So an email campaign in terms of a marketing campaign, well, depending on what you're campaigning, right? It may need to be a little bit longer, right? It may need to be a little bit longer. But if it's a cold outbound, which is what we're here for, keep it short. Unless you're doing like super technical or something like that. And I've worked with people and we've done that. And like, but it's still about 8 sentences, right? Your optimal email should be about 2 to 5 sentences, 75 to 125 words. Reading level should be 6th to 7th grade reading level. Your subject line should be 3 words. That's the optimal for any cold outbound email that will get a response. If you go over that, then you know that's semantics. You can do that what you will, but that's like the actual goal you should have. So what I would do, to be fair, in terms of creating like a subject line for the email that I created, I just keep subject lines pretty simple. You should create your subject line last. Actually, it actually did create a subject line in there. If we go back, it actually had the subject line. It creates it on its own. But all I do is say pull the most relevant topic from this email and make it a subject line. You don't need to make it crazy. If you're talking about like sales conversions, maybe your subject line should be like sales conversions, right? The subject line should actually be pretty simple. Lavender has a ton of data on this, and they have way more information than I do on this. Shout out to Will already. You should go follow him. And he talks about this, like keeping the subject line super simple, don't making it overcomplicated, making it seem that if it's like an internal email almost, but also making the concept simple. But I would just look at the email and tell it, hey, create me a subject line, right? That's like less than 5 words. Give me 5 options and go from there. Optionality and variety is what you want in this scenario. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Hopefully I'm able to answer his question. If I didn't, just re-ask, but I'm going through. Everybody wants Christmas dinner, but no one wants to cook the turkey. Yo, that's literally it. Are there any integrations with MailChimp that allow creating and sending out on quantity? I don't know that. To be fair, I'm not going to answer something I don't know. I don't know that. I haven't tried that. I don't think they do, but I don't know that one. Plugins I recommend. All right, cool. Let me actually go in here. I'm going to pull it up because this is the one that I really like. I'm going to share my screen again so y'all can see. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. Appreciate y'all. Y'all ask really good questions, man. We're just vibing here, you know. All right, cool. Boom. All right, we're back, y'all. We're back. So 4 people are asking. I'll literally just show you. It's just a lot easier than me telling you. So I love y'all. I love these 2. Think about it. How many of y'all do research in a 10K report? Just put a 1 in the chat. Let me make sure this is relevant for people, because if none of y'all look at 10K reports, it actually like this actually really doesn't matter. David, they actually just integrated ChatGPT inside of Lavender, really new update. So in short, yeah, you can use both, right? That's the key. But quick, 10K report or annual report. Does anyone check these out? Put a 1, or I do, whatever. I just want to get a pulse check because it might not be relevant for everybody, but like 10Ks, annual reports, enterprise companies, global companies. Anyways, I use the PDF. So normal 10K reports like what, 100 to 180, probably 200 pages. So you can actually use this PDF one. It will analyze the 10K report for you. You just put the link in there, and then you could find the relevant information without spending hours. So I like using that one a lot. One thing, shout out to Kyle Coleman on this one. We were doing a webinar together, and he had an amazing play, and I was like, this is so good. And I was like, I'm stealing this from you. He talked about how go look up interviews from CEOs and VCs. and see what they talk about. And then you could pull the transcript from YouTube, but you also can pull the transcript from ChatGPT as well. So you can put in a YouTube video and get the transcript from that and then use that as a way to personalize. So I like Vox script a lot. Link reader is the same thing. So anything YouTube, PDF, Word doc as well, you could get the information faster, right? I use Expedia to book the trip, so I like that one. Scholar AI, I love that one too. It just searches through the different pieces. So those are the ones I like. So just to give you all just an example, like those are the ones I use pretty consistently across the board as well. And then Prompt Perfector just gets you writing a good prompt every time if you're struggling, and I like that one too. So those are my answers on that. I'll stop sharing. Cool. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, David, sales campaign, I keep it short. I'm keep it punchy, right? Sales campaigns are about punchiness and the value offer, right? What's the problem? How are you solving that? How does that make that person feel good? That's the case there. Michael, in terms of sharpening the solution and offering, this was actually interesting because I've been doing this lately in ChatGPT. So I will do a lot of like beating up the offering. So what I'll do is I'll throw in the value prop and be like, here's my value prop. And I'll have like people critique it. And so essentially you can have anyone critique it. Now, one could say, all right, Morgan, well, that's not the real person. I get it. But you can critique it. So I could be like, hey, critique this. This is just random. All right. Critique this as Mark Cuban. Critique this as Kevin O'Leary or whoever your buyer persona is. And it will like beat it up for you and actually make it better. So it helps me sharpen the solution, sharpen the offering. Also, as well, Michael, you can take the offering and solution you have, put in the buyer personas, challenge, and priorities, because you probably know what they are. And then you can map that out, those challenge and priorities. And then now the AI knows what the challenge and priorities are. And it will then critique those offerings. It will critique the offerings and solutions as well. Which is pretty cool. So again, amazing, awesome stuff that you could do here to get this done. All right, y'all, I have 3 minutes left. Olivia's coming on. I think she's raking me off the stage. She's like, Morgan's done. He said too much. I'm getting called off, y'all. It's been too much.
It was amazing. Thank you so much, Morgan. By the way, what is the best question? We have some cool branded merch, so we definitely need to select
I know.
the winner.
I was going quick, and I was like, man, there's so many good questions here, and I know that we were making a decision on what this is going to be. You gotta give me a minute because I was like going through and I was like, oh, what was actually the best question here? I'm like scrolling through right now. Give me like a minute because I've got to go back to the original questions too, because some people had some good original questions. So I'm scrolling through here right now, and we're gonna make sure that we award the one that I was like, yo, this is.
And while Morgan is selecting the winner, the best question, let me thank you all, guys, for your attention today. Thank you for joining the event. I advise you to join the LinkedIn group that we created for the marathon, because you will have the first home assignment to help you adopt AI. So please join. All the cool stuff will be there, including prompts that we discussed during this workshop. So yeah, please find the link in chat. My team has just shared the link. And if this was helpful, please share your feedback on social media. Tag reply, use hashtag SalesAIMarathon, and you can win Amazon gift cards on $100 and $50. So please share your feedback. So at the end of the marathon, we'll be giving Amazon gift cards. So, Morgan, do we have the winner?
See, you put me in a tough spot because whoever doesn't win is just gonna be upset. And y'all, like, don't come after me, all right? I know, like, I know who actually has the good question because I was like, this actually is legit. But at the same time, do not come after me if you're not the winner. We don't need that hostility out here. But here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you why this person wins. I think all these questions are great, so please don't get into tizzy. But I'm gonna actually pick Michael Andres. I believe that's how you say it last name. Here's why. Because to your point, he's right. All the stuff that I did, it actually doesn't really matter if your solution and offering is completely trash. So the thing at the end of the day, this actually is important that we were diving into that and starting to talk about it a little bit, because that question he asked is something that you all can now think about moving forward on okay, cool. You could replicate all this stuff. Someone talked about automation, but again, that doesn't matter. If you automate trash, you will get trash. So I'm gonna go with Michael as the best question. But all y'all are winners. All right. So I don't want to see any hostility out here. See, Tori's aren't rigged. I don't even know Michael, so like it can't be rigged.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Michael, please message, well, me personally or our corporate page, reply I on LinkedIn, and we will send you the cool branded merch. Well, you're the winner today. Congrats.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, everyone, for joining this first workshop of the Sales AI Marathon. And we'll see you in a week.
All right, y'all have a good one. Cheers.